Welcome to the VET S.O.S podcast. Remember, don't drown to see a transition. Grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline. Today, we're sitting down with the CEO of an organization we had on way back in season 4. So 4 seasons ago. Excited to hear about what's new with this organization, what else they're doing, because they're doing some great things for our community. So this should be a great episode and some valuable things that our community can take advantage of. And y'all know my co-host and world-renowned double Dutch competitor, Keith. How you doing today, brother?
Doing well, but you remind me that was 4 seasons ago, and it really literally just felt like 2 months ago. So I'm probably old enough now that I'll probably blow out a knee the next double Dutch competition. Glad to be here is my backup in my retirement plan. So keep the checks coming, Sean.
No problem. I have no problems writing checks that big. All right, let's jump.
I don't get paid. That's why.
I'll write 0 checks all day long.
0, yeah, right.
I don't have to worry about them bouncing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into this. We're sitting down today with Nick Canny. He's a U.S. Air Force veteran, public servant, nonprofit executive, leading high-impact initiatives that strengthen the lives of veterans and their families across Florida. Former Staff Sergeant and F-22 Raptor Crew Chief, he later served in the Florida House of Representatives and the U.S. Congress, advancing policies focused on accountability, access, and outcomes for those who served. As Director of Operations for the Wounded Veteran Relief Fund, Nick leads statewide operations and strategic partnerships that deliver millions in direct assistance and life-changing care to wounded and disabled veterans. Absolutely love that. You have had your hands in a bunch helping this community, Nick. So happy you joined us today. How you doing?
I'm good, brother. I appreciate you guys taking me on, and congrats to 4 seasons. Hopefully those knees can hang on for a little bit longer, or at least get that VA disability rating to cover the cost going forward. But I'm good, man. I appreciate this. You know, we're fortunate. I'm fortunate to be in a place that does good, right? I signed up in the Air Force to leave Florida, and sure enough, the Air Force decided to put me right back in Florida in Panama City. So I proudly served my country on the beaches of Panama City during every spring break, which was tough, right? You know, it's hard to figure out what bar we're going to go to that night. But, you know, the military uses you, or you can kind of use the military. That's what I tell a lot of people that are going through. And while I was kind of landlocked in a base, in a unit that was a training unit for F-22 pilots that were getting churched up, and then once we had them become deployable, we would then push them to other deployable units. At the same time, the sequestration was happening, so they were kicking out a mass amount of troops throughout all the branches. So, it was difficult because you want to go in, you want to deploy for whatever those reasons are, and it's like you kind of come back. It's like, well, Nick, sorry, we want to keep you here. This is what it's going to be like, and kind of accept it. I love being a crew chief with a little asterisk on top of it. I don't change the oil in my truck. I don't fix things. You know, I hung the stuff up on the wall. That's about my mechanical aptitude. Always put safe jets in the sky. But I realized pretty quickly that being a crew chief wasn't the calling for me. And what I focused on, after making some rank and getting some troops under me, it was focus on the people. That was it. Because without the people, the mission would never get done. Which is why I always say people first, mission always. And it's always stuck with me going forward. So I got out 2018, 2019 through the DoD SkillBridge program. Have y'all heard about that one?
A little bit.
So I heard about the DoD SkillBridge program through a podcast that I was listening to every day that I'd go to work. And I heard about it. And I go out to my chain of command and I said, hey, I want to do the DoD SkillBridge. And they go, that's not real. I said, okay, well, I heard about this online, so I'm telling you this is real. So I go to the education office, go, through all the different resources, and sure enough, everybody tells me that this isn't real. Go, okay, well, let me go back to the podcast and figure out if I'm saying the right name. Sure enough, I do. Go back to the education office. They do some digging. And the Air Force adopted it as a career skills program, which at the time nobody heard about. The Air Force didn't have AFIs that regulated it. So what had to happen was not only did I have to convince my chain of command, the first sergeant, to our unit commander, but the education commands, FSS, squadron commander to the base commander. I went on a road tour telling these people that this was real. And at the time, there was roughly 20 people in the Air Force that's ever done it. So finally told them that it was going to be good to go. Awesome, great. I got MAGCOM level to approve it. And then it got funneled back down to our chain of command level, got everybody to approve it. And thank God it was approved. And I was a 21st or 22nd person in the Air Force that actually was able to fulfill the DoD SkillBridge program. And it's kind of like one of those things where you hear something, and obviously not everything is true on the internet, probably the 1% is, but you see something that is, by God, an amazing program for active duty members to transition out. Because what happens is as active duty members transition out, they lose purpose. We're told for however long, 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 30 years, what to eat, what to wear, what time to show up, where to live, how to be a person. So after you leave the gates and you do a final salute, you take the uniform off, it's like, what happened? What do I do now? So the DoD SkillBridge program, again, I tell so many people to do it. It was funny after my chain of command tells me it's not real. They're the same people that signed up to do it, and they were able to do it. Going forward past that, all my troops got involved into it. So an amazing program. Now what it's turned out to today is a whole different story. Now vets get involved in it and they have to go to a computer and then click a button just to log in. And unfortunately, that's not setting them up for success, but conversation for a different day. So I was privileged to be able to do that, which led me to transitioning out, coming back down to South Florida, and getting involved in politics. I knocked on a campaign door because I wanted to get started, and I was willing to start from the bottom, just knock on doors, make phone calls, whatever it entailed. Because in the military, we're told to fight these people, right? We're told that we need to hate these people. For what? I don't. I'm not saying that these people are good, these people are bad. You look back from World War II, which June 6, 1944, the day we invaded Normandy, we fought alongside our allies who are now our adversaries. So it's interesting to see how history tends to kind of repeat itself, and who we fought along with back then are now our number one enemies now today. So I just wanted to get, spun up on the political side, understand the reasoning of why these people are sending us and now our sons and daughters into war. So ended up getting a position as a legislative aide in the Florida House of Representatives, served a year there, trying to figure out what I could do, how I could be of assistance and learn the process at the state side. Did a year there, then I transitioned out of that position. And that's when life kind of hit. Downfall, absolute downfall, loss of purpose, unemployed, not because of anything that I was not saying I was unemployable, but I wasn't taking the action to be the best person that I knew I could be. And that was a problem. Whether it was drugs or alcohol, what I was addicted to was forgetting that every single day I wasn't the man that I knew I could be, the man that's in one of those photos back there. And the easiest outlet was going back to the bars and forgetting who I was today, about remembering who I was in the past. And how I was stuck doing that for 2 years. Then thank God, I was graced with my daughter Stella. At the time, I wasn't planning on having a child. But when I found out denial, depression, everything that you could think of as a father, a provider, I didn't check off any of those boxes. So I tried to run from it, just again, try to forget that this was happening. And finally, roughly 2-3 months into it, I came to a fork in the road. It was be a dad, be a father, or keep being the same person I was for 2 years. That was nothing. Thank God I flipped the switch and I chose the father path, because when I would pray, and if you would even call it that, but I would pray for this position, what I do now with Wounded Veterans Relief Fund, or what I did in Congress, or whatever it was, I'd pray for that, but I wouldn't take action to be able to execute on it. And whose fault is that? It's mine. It's nobody else's, right? It's mine. So I reached out to a woman named Laura Berkson, who serves on our board. She's a Gold Star daughter, lost her dad, Joseph, in Vietnam. Reached out to her. I said, "Hey, Laura, my name's Nick. I'm about to have a kid, and I don't have a job. Do you know anybody who I can call?" She said, "Call Mike Durkee." Mike Durkee is our executive director. He's been on the team now for going on 10 years and has turned a Wounded Veterans Relief Fund into, a small local nonprofit, now a statewide nonprofit, soon to be expanding to more states throughout the country. So I called Mike and said, "Hey, Mike, looking for a job." I said, "Great, let's meet." So we met, had a great conversation of what I could do and what I could bring onto the team, had a handshake at the end of it. For whatever reason, I felt great about it, but wanted to make sure I was still on point. Heaven forbid something were to fall through with Wounded Veterans Relief Fund. So I went home, went on usajobs.gov, and I found a position called the Green and Gold program. The Green and Gold program allows veterans that have transitioned out, and also veteran spouses and Gold Star family members, to have a position in Congress working for a member. Again, back in my mind, I think, hey, joining Winter Veterans is really fun anytime now, but I'll just send this resume out just to see what happens. I had some legislative experience in the background. So I sent it out. Week or two goes by, my daughter about to be born anytime now, and Mike calls me back and he says, "Hey, Nick, look, I'm sorry, but the way the Winter Veterans Relief Fund is expanding, we need somebody in Tampa. We'll need somebody here in North Palm Beach." I said, "Okay." It hurt, obviously, but it was the best decision that Winter Veterans Relief Fund could do, not just for the organization, but for me personally too. And I said, "All right, I'm like, well, if you know anybody that's hiring, let me know." I go back to my desk to start looking for jobs, and I look at my phone, and it's a call from DC. And it was the chief of staff in DC saying that they wanted to bring me on as their legislative aide, congressional Green and Gold member for their office. So did the onboarding paperwork. It was funny. It was for a Democrat member. And I asked them during the interview, I said, "You guys know how I align, right? Is that going to be a problem?" Nope, not at all. It's all good. We just want you to come on board. I said, "Great." And then at the same time, Congressman Brian Mass, already a veteran, they reached out and they wanted to also talk to me too. So it was kind of like two things. I can either go work for a Republican office or for a Democrat office. And while I identified the way, my brain works, but I've already had experience with the Republican side. I want to know if I can work in a Democrat office and see if I can get anything done. Worst case scenario, I can just try to bring back, the conversations, bring back people to the middle. And sure enough, that's what I did. So I signed the onboarding paperwork and I called Mike Durkee back with WVRF. And I said, "Hey, Mike, I know you guys decided to go with somebody else, but I just got this job in Congress. What can I do? What can I use this office for to help advance WVRF's mission?" And then throughout, it was roughly a year, him and I became close friends. I would go out to his events, help the veterans that were there, that were in our district. And then roughly a year goes by and we're at an event and he says, "Hey, Nick, it's time for you to come to WVRF." I said, "Mike, my resignation letter is already in the car, so let's do it." So started as the Director of Development Communications, then moved to Director of Operations, now overseeing the team, 9 staff members, operating 2 amazing programs, now soon to be a 3rd one involving mental health. And it's funny because every time I get the opportunity to, I give Mike a hard time, but Mike somehow always knows the right decision, and him saying no back then made one of my dreams come true. Because the first day I got to DC and I'm standing in the halls, tears running down my eyes, because that was the place that so many decisions happen that either positively or unfortunately negatively affect all of us. So that learning, that understanding, that navigating, it all of the evil that goes through those halls, I do my best every single day to translate that into good, to be able to help us. And that's the most important thing. That's the reason those members should be there, regardless of what side they're on, is to help us. Now, again, is that what's happening up there every single day? No, it's not. That's the truth of it. But a conversation for a different day as well. But our ability at Wounded Veterans Relief Fund to step in and ultimately save these veterans in the most vulnerable time is making a difference. I wear the 22 a day veterans that commit suicide. Is that number true? No, it's not. And we could debate whether it's 22 a day. You could say it's 118 because I've seen that number as well. Or you could go down to what the VA publishes as well, is roughly 17 and a half. But regardless, it's 1. And the fact that it's 1 means that it's still a crisis. The issue is that nobody's talking about it. But thankfully, there's organizations like WVRF and so many others that are actually stepping up to be able to serve our veterans in these times of crisis. So again, I'm grateful to be able to talk to you guys and share a little bit more.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. I mean, you covered it all, man. That was fantastic.
Appreciate it.
No, man, great story. Great journey. And
did you find the answers?
Yeah.
I mean, you said you went out there to find the answers. I'm just curious. Did you find the answers?
I don't think
Or
you
did
ever
you leave
do.
with more questions?
Yeah, all of the above. All of the above. You can control what you can control and you can influence what you can influence. And that's something that I learned in the Democrat office. I would have conversations, not so much with the member herself. There's, a couple of them. But when you align so differently, morally, ethically, all of the above, at the end of the day, when members are voted in, you're not working for your voters, you're working for your constituents. And that's lost. That's lost throughout not just municipality elections, municipality, uh, you know, uh, politicians, but grand scheme all the way to Congress. This government's lost, and that's not an administration issue because the administration comes in and best case scenario, you get 8 years, worst case, you get 4. It's the fact that people can sit there for 40 years, right? And have this insane influence on the rest of our lives every single day. So people want to get upset about president this, president this, president this. Let's look at the individuals who have been there for 40 years and figure out how all of this is starting to like actually become at the macro level. That's either one, positively or negatively affected our country. And it's rare whenever I actually get anybody, to kind of follow up with that portion of it.
Yeah, that's 100% true there. Nobody, I don't know, the political discussion is such a tenuous one, but the one thing you said that I really, really believe and admire about politicians and everything is, you were hoping to maybe bring the conversation back. And I think that's one of the biggest things we've lost is the willingness to just have a conversation. Everything's name calling and finger pointing now, and it's like we're not going anywhere.
It's just hate.
Yeah.
It's hate, and whether it's true hate or it's pure talking points, what really pisses me off is that every single person, again, red, blue, doesn't matter, they're all campaigning off of fight. I will fight for you. I will fight. Stop fighting. I don't want people to fight. We do enough fighting already. Let's just have a conversation. Like, I don't want somebody that's just going to go, I'm going to fight. That's ridiculous because let's be honest. The only thing that you're going to do is talk. That's all that's it. You're just talking. You're trying to look for, a new viral clip that's going to, prove to whoever your micro echo chamber voter bases and hopes to raise dollars for whatever these issues are. And all these issues get turned into something completely different. And it's insanity. It's pure insanity. It's unfortunate that this is what politics is today. The red versus blue, kind of growing through all of this, ideologically, I don't think the majority of people even know what party they're on because the party themselves don't know what they do. They have no idea. They're told you have to vote on this. A quick one, and I know we got a lot of other stuff to talk about, but I think this is fun. It was the bill for boys to be in girls sports. So boys and girls sports, the trans thing going all bonkers. I have a daughter, and one of the rare moments where I had a one-on-one conversation with the congresswoman, I asked her, I said, "Ma'am, how do you vote on this?" And she goes, "Nick, I have daughters too. But if I go against the party line, they will send millions and millions and millions of dollars against me. They will primary me, and then I will lose my seat." And that was a very shock and awe moment for me because morally and ethically, you completely disagree with this, but you're going to agree with this because you're being told to. And then they're using fear of you losing your seat. Now, I can sit here in my position that wasn't voted in, that's not sitting, in that member's seat and say, well, that's when I would step away. Would I do that? I would hope that I would. I can't judge her I guess I can judge her, but it's easy for me to say that I'm not in that position. But the moral of it is still the fact that these people are voting on bills that go against why they were voted there in the first place. And that's a problem. That is an insane problem. And yes, that was Democrat versus Republican, but it goes both sides. Like, let's be honest with it. It goes both sides. I can refer back to, funding wars, right? Or my favorite one is, the omnibus bills where they'll put a 1.5% pay raise for troops, but they'll also put in, $100 billion to fund Ukraine while everybody's killing each other over there. So heaven forbid, I support our troops getting a pay raise, but I do not support us sending more money to Ukraine or Israel or Gaza or pick and choose all these other things. I have to vote yes or no. So if I vote no on that, well, then I'm against giving our giving our troops a pay raise. Well, it's like, dude, no, I'm for that. I'm just not for all of this other stuff that you want to put in. that's the way politics. That's what it's become. It's put it all in one bill, and you're forced to make a decision, and that's what it is. But it's
Uh,
uh
uh,
it's tough.
Before we become a political podcast,
I know, I know,
we're
I
gonna
know.
jump back into your
Yeah.
organization
Yep.
because I have my strong opinions on all of this, and it sounds like you and I agree on a lot of things. But hey, that's not what we do here. So we're gonna jump back into the Wounded Veteran Relief
That's
Fund,
it. That's it.
and yes, 'cause I love what your organization is doing, and
Appreciate
I
it.
also want to point out that you started your introduction with setting the Air Force back 20 years as far as people perceiving them as tough, because you talked about your time at spring break on Panama City Beach serving in the Air Force. So I just want to throw that out there that was
Well,
not missed.
and he talked about, wanting to deploy. I served with security forces in Afghanistan. I know their deployments, quote unquote.
Tough.
Their
The, hot-
90-day TDY deployments were
the
so
hotels
rough.
are tough.
with with substandard housing allowances and all
Oh
that
yeah.
kind of stuff. Yeah.
They had the best barracks on the
Uh,
base. But anyway,
All right, so we had you guys on before and talked mainly about the dental program,
Mhm.
and the amazing stuff, and we even had some pictures to share. That the transformation was amazing, and really, looking at the pictures really to me hit home with just the importance of the smile, and the fact that you could see the confidence level change between the photos, and just being able to smile and be proud of their smile, just changed things immensely. So I know you guys still have that program going. What other things are you guys offering and working on?
100%. So, back in 2009, our goal was urgent financial assistance, stepping in when veterans needed that immediate help within 24 to 72 hours. The
And that's
eviction
for Florida.
for Florida, correct.
Yeah.
Both programs are for Florida. Stepping in when the eviction notice is already at their door, their lights are already off. Veterans, whether we are in Panama City or deployed downrange, we're all a little bit stubborn. So typically, when we do ask for help, it's already kind of too late, or it's at the point to where these things are already happening. So we've been able to create a program to be able to serve these veterans immediately. Now, we ensure these veterans qualify for our programs first and foremost, and then we'll be able to, go through their bank statements to ensure that they truly do have a need, make sure they're not, being insane with their money, or making sure that this is not just a Band-Aid. This is like a permanent solve. So a veteran that just got laid off for whatever reason, they can't come back and, pay their mortgage, pay their rent, lights get turned off, utilities, water, electric, sewage, gas, transportation. We pay past auto bills and insurance bills, as well as temporary child care for veterans that are, one, transitioning out of the military, or two, seeking better employment. So that's kind of how our foundation was built on up until 2021, where we had a veteran come in, said that they need dental, and we realized that the 85% of veterans do not receive dental care through the VA, which is ridiculous. So we did a little bit of Google searching to figure out, okay, well, are any other services that are providing this for veterans? Unfortunately, there's not. There's a couple onesies and twosies throughout the country, or a bigger national one that does provide pro bono care for the veterans, but the wait times, you're lucky if you can get in a year, right? So we're focused on the acute issue right now, the infections, the pain in your mouth, your inability to eat. So that's what we're focused on doing, and built the program out. Started with one dental office, now over 350 dental partners throughout the entire state, meaning that if you're a veteran in the state of Florida that qualifies for our program, with that acute issue, missing teeth, pain, can't chew a steak, right? All the above, will qualify you and then place you with the closest dental partner that we have in your area. Again, 100% free. It's been unbelievable to see the growth in this program. We did 17 veterans in 2021, roughly 38 veterans in 2022, 134 veterans in 2023, 234 veterans in 2024, 362 veterans in 2025. And this year we're on track with 500 veterans, which I believe will surpass that because of Tammy Martin and her team. These are the individuals that execute that. Just to give you a couple fun facts, On our program this year, just for dental alone, we've already serviced over 253 veterans, complete and total mouth care, with over 160 veterans that are currently being seen throughout the entire state of Florida, being managed by 3 people. Unbelievable work. Unbelievable work. Like it's amazing to see, to talk to them in our team meetings. So shout out to Tammy, Nolina, and Lauren, who's able to not only, work with the veteran, but also work with the dental partners as well. Right. Because the dental office isn't there just to service veterans. They have an entire practice to run. So their ability to manage the veteran, ensure that all of their appointments, they're there on time, make payment to the dental partners, and make sure that the dental partners are happy with, how the program's actually running. So more or less, we are a middleman, you could kind of say, because what we do is we raise the funds, find the veterans, place the veterans, and then make payment directly to the dentist to ensure that veteran gets taken care of.
That's fantastic. I
I,
absolutely love that. What do you think, Keith?
well, first of all, I don't think you could even fathom not being able to eat a steak. But um, I would say, I would say you're more than just the middleman. I mean, you're the linchpin. Like it's all happening because of what you all are doing. And I I dealt with a lot of dental issues in my military career, and so like I can't imagine not having dental services available to me with what I went through, and because I know how debilitating it can be. And I mean, I so before we started recording and stuff, like we're talking about the expansion, hopefully soon beyond Florida, and I hope to God it is. I mean, this is an absolute necessity, in my opinion, that needs to be nationwide. So let's talk about that real quick. Like we're almost at time. I got to throw that out there too. So we actually got to, but I do want to talk about the growth. So where is WVRV or the WVRF headed?
So our goal is to, and again, this can change. Everything goes based off of funding, but Texas would be the next state. They're number 2 in population for veterans, so we believe that would be a great fit. Not only can we get our alignment with dental partners, and that's an amazing thing too, is so many of our dental partners say the same thing. They say, Nick, we want to help. We want to help veterans, but we don't know how. Right? Okay. Well, this is how you do it. Because not only are you providing a service to the veteran, but you're getting paid for it. Yes, you're not going to get paid an insane amount of money. We have a fee schedule that all of our dental partners sign on to, roughly 65% off their normal rate. But it's direct cash directly back to the dental partner and the veteran. The hardest thing that they have to do is show up. That's it. It is legitimately life-saving care for our veterans because if you think about the dental health, the overall physical health, which then could negatively affect your mental health, it's all these different types of issues that the veterans go through. And I use this, this phrase all the time, suicide, and this is from personal belief. Suicide isn't one thing that happens to you that puts you over the edge. It's multiple specific situations that lead up to one scenario. And that one scenario then leads you into, unfortunately, making that ultimate decision. So what Wounded Veterans Relief Fund is here to do is to solve these independent situations to ensure that your mind is never going to go, to that extreme. And that's what's so important. Dental health. We want more organizations to do this. I understand why they don't do this because it's very difficult. Managing so much and dealing with different parts of it, but nobody's doing it in the country, and we're lucky that we're an organization that was able to realize the issue and then attack it straight on because the dental program is now has already surpassed our financial assistance program, and we did that because there are other organizations throughout the country that provide us financial assistance, but nobody is doing dental. And that's where we step up. That's where we step up. And, we can do it, whether it's, our team is based in Florida only or Texas or wherever it is, because again, the issue isn't where our staff is located. It's finding the veterans, which are everywhere, who have dental issues, which are everywhere, and then placing them with dental offices that will provide the care, which are also everywhere. So the scalability of it is, we're fortunate to be in a position that we are. Again, we have an amazing team that's going to completely make a mark on this, but ultimately be there for our veterans who are suffering in this very difficult situation without any other outlets. And I know we're stuck on time, but I'll give you a quick scenario. late last year, I was asked to drive and to shout out for, on June 6th for D-Day, a World War II veteran, Richard Rossi. I was asked to give him a car ride where did I take him? To West Palm Beach. And I live in Port St. Lucie. He lives in Port St. Lucie. So I said, absolutely. I'm going to get to spend an hour with a hero. So we're sitting in the car. I tell him who I am. I learned a little bit about his time in the Army in World War II, like a documentary, And I tell him that we do dental. And he goes, wow, I have been fighting with the VA to get dental care and they won't help me. I said, Richard, I'll fix that. And he laughs. He just laughs. He has no idea what I'm talking about. He just laughs. So I drop him off and I call my team and Dr. RT's office at USA Dental. I said, hey, get ready because we're about to bring this guy on. So the next day I drive to his house. I fill out all of his paperwork. And for the next 4 months, I would drive to his house, pick him up and drive him to his dental appointments. Richard went from 3 teeth in his mouth to now a complete smile. This individual fought through World War II, was awarded the French Legion of Honor, lived his entire life. Unfortunately, his teeth were falling out, goes to the VA, and the VA declines him. Why did they decline him? Because all of his paperwork got burnt up in the St. Louis fire. That was the reasoning why Richard, a World War II hero, could not get dental care through the VA. Now, mimic that for the thousands, if not millions, of other veterans who are in the exact same position. Yes, obviously not World War II, but Vietnam, Korea War, Iraq, Afghanistan, OIF, OEF, all of it, right? I'm not here to place blame on the VA. Again, that can go to a different conversation. But the issue is that this is happening right now. We have veterans that cannot eat right now. So how do we solve that? Well, when the veterans comes in and solves that, again, thanks to our team, thanks to our partnerships. So that's why we exist.
Love it.
Fantastic.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you guys are doing amazing things. And yeah, we are at time, unfortunately.
No worries.
But no, thank you for all that you're doing, coming on the show and talking about it. So before we go, one last question though: how do folks reach out to you? How do they reach out to the organization? How do they get in touch to either get the services and or support the program for others?
100%. So WVRF.org is our website. You'll find out all of our different contact methods and our programs and information on how to get connected. And heaven forbid you are a veteran that does need that help right now. Call me, 772-214-7001. You'll get this phone right here. But please God, know that you are worth it. You are worth it. And that's why we are here. And it's not just why WVRF is here. It's why, John, you're here. Keith, that's why you're here. But you're a veteran that's going through any sort of issues right now. You're a veteran that just wants to talk. You're a veteran that just needs somebody. Call me, and we'll talk through it. The WVRF can assist you. By God, I'll make sure that I find somebody that can, because there's a lot of different pieces to this puzzle. But thankfully, we understand that working together is the most important part. So that's it.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Nick, for everything you're doing. And for those of y'all listening, reach out if you can use the services. If you're not in Florida and you feel like this needs to spread, like I think it needs to spread across the nation, reach out and see how we can start spreading this across the country. Because like Nick said, this is not being done on a wide scale like so many other services are for the veteran community. They are in a very small niche and it needs to grow. So thanks again, Nick. And on behalf of the entire VET S.O.S family, thank you for spending your time with us today. It's always great having you along for the ride. Don't forget to check out all of our other episodes and keep coming back for more stories, insight, and support from the VET S.O.S crew. If you enjoyed this episode, give us a follow, share the show, and tell a friend or two. Toss your battle buddies, fire team, shipmates, and wingmen that flotation advice they need in transition so no one drowns in the sea of transition. And as always, grab the VET S.O.S Lifeline.